Hey guys, Thetcglover here, cut video today. Right, so a couple of days ago I asked you, the viewer, to post a question and I would love to answer them, and I got quite a few questions, and this video, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm trying to answer as many as possible. There's a few that I had to leave out because I realised that the answer that I would have to give would be very, very long and it wouldn't fit into the video basically, but I tried to get as many good questions and fit them in as possible. Obviously no questions that repeat each other, so if you hear your question but it's said by someone else, do realise that I actually saw your question, but I realised that I can't answer the same question twice because I received like 5 different questions on pendulum summoning. I would only like to answer the question once, if you get what I mean. So let's get started on it. So we have a guy called Lan Mater that asks, what's your favourite food? When did you start playing Yu-Gi-Oh? And what was your favourite hobby before Yu-Gi-Oh, if you had any? Do I have hobbies before Yu-Gi-Oh? I'm just like a normal guy. I always play games. You know, I'm a PC gamer rather than I play on consoles. So my hobby was generally just playing computer games, really. You know, stuff like Gmod, Valve games in general. I just enjoyed playing those. They're my favourite sort of thing. When did I start playing Yu-Gi-Oh? I started playing Yu-Gi-Oh in 2008 properly. I played when I was in primary school. Things happened and I had to stop playing, and then I came back to it in 2008. The game had changed a lot since then. Light of Destruction just came out. The game was a lot different, and I actually got into it very well because I think the game was a lot more fun that way. And my favourite food is probably gonna be duck. I was thinking about this question for a while and I realised that I do like duck a lot. When I go to Chinese takeaways and I have duck, it's my favourite food. I don't know, if I could, I would just go into a pond and see ducks and just have my mouth open and just run towards the pond and hope I catch something. That would be my dream come true, basically. Con Alexo asks, which one do you think is the best type of monster? Normal, effect, fusion, ritual, synchro, xyz. Because I'm a competitive player, I'd say that either synchro, xyz, but I do love ritual monsters. I mean, when I did the sneak peek the other day for Legacy of the Valiant, I got to play with Photon Dragon, the one that, you know, the ritual monster. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's really, really good, and it takes a good ritual spell and an easy to summon monster for rituals to come back. I mean, then they are a neg, but if you make the ritual card good enough, then the cards are good. I mean, Herald of Perfection is fantastic, so I do like rituals. I think they have a lot of potential to get better. Hopefully when the new pendulum monsters come out and the new sets come out in the next Arc 5, they bring back rituals like they did with Synchros back in Judgment of the Light. That would be really, really cool. Donnie McCoy asks, what's your opinion on Boojins? I love Boojins. I made a few videos on Boojins. They're going to get much, much better. Having to deal with Bujinji hair is now very, very annoying, so you really have to exhaust a lot of resources into killing Yamato. There's a lot of outs, you know, Ghost Trick Frost, Creature Swap, Widespread Ruin, Mirror Force. There's a lot of ways to get around particular cards. I mean, it's up to the Bujin player to analyze what you have, what they think you probably have, and then they can play around it. But if they're just a standard, oh, I play Bujins, you know, I just send Turtle in the end phase or send Hair, you can play around them very easily. So it depends on how good you are against the matchup. It's a skillful matchup, that's for sure. Behold the Storm asks, what is your favourite monster card in the game? I thought about this for a while, and my favourite monster card in the game will probably have to be Machina Gearframe. I thought about this for a while and I realised that I love cards that plus and tutors. Machina Gearframe is my favourite because I love machines. I love Gear X. It's a fantastic search card. It's the reason why I play Machina Gadgets, because Machina Gearframe is one of the big cornerstones of the deck. It wouldn't have the power that it does if you didn't have an 1800 summon that you could search for Machina Fortress, a 2500 beta that does all these amazing things while it's on the field. Machina Gearframe is just, you know, the bread and butter of the deck essentially, and I love the card. It's my favourite thing. It's almost as good as Stratus, except in my opinion it has more competitive targets rather than Stratus searching Alias, the new Gemini Sparkle, and the new Miracle Fusion. It's like, yeah, but you want to summon Gearframe, get the Fortress, or do Cannon, and you can do Levar Chain plays. It's fantastic. Blade Armor Ginja asks, what was my first deck built? My first deck built was Blackwings. That was back in 2009. I wanted to play a proper deck, so I bought a few packs because they were all common. Raging Battle came out, I got Blizzard of the Far North, and I think I got a Armed Wing, and then I sort of made a deck from there. It wasn't very good. I had Icarus Attack, but I didn't really understand how good it was because you had to chain it to things so that you plus off it. That was my first proper deck, and then when 2010 came along, I did make Machinas, and I took it to random tournaments, and I think I won my first local with it. So that kind of made me realise how much I enjoyed playing Machina Gadgets. What's my thought on Sylvans? A few people asked me this question. To be honest, I don't know too much about them because I haven't bothered to really look at them. I've seen them as the same kind of ballpark as something like Watts, where like they were there and then people were going to play them, but like they still lack a lot of things that make a good deck competitive. I do like promo card that Legacy of the Valiant got, the Blade Fender. I think the fact that when it gets excavated you can bring it back to your hand, that allows you to do some really nice plussing. The whole deck in general is very good, it's just it needs a little bit of like someone to take it and really give it a good deck list. Just for like a lot of other decks, I mean it has a lot of potential to be good, it just needs someone to take it on and really develop it into a great deck. And most important of all, what color is my underwear? I have no idea what color your underwear is, but if I had to think, I'd probably have to like either check myself. I don't know, Blade Armor, whatever your underwear could be. I mean, if I was really British, I'd probably have a Union Jack as my underwear. And we'd be done with that. Chaos Dude 1399 asks, any tips for a 14-year-old going into their first tournament? I think the biggest thing that I would suggest for someone who's young and going into a tournament is to not be pushed around. You're going to be playing against older players, and the fact is that you need to understand that people will take you for a ride when they play against you. If they think they can shark you and get a win, because even though you're there losing, they can rule you up because you make a misplay, because it's your first tournament, you make misplays because you're nervous. If you're a 14-year-old who's obnoxious and a little shit, even though I don't like those kind of people, they will go into a tournament and they will be able to win because they can shark people and they can stand their ground when people try and shark them. They know the rules, they know that they can speak up when they have to. So if you're a 14-year-old who's quiet and withdrawn and introvert, I would say to, before you walk into the venue, tighten your fists up, walk in and keep your head held high and don't take any shit, because people will treat you like shit and they will try and you'll lose because not because you did bad, but because people will make you feel nervous and they will try and outplay you mentally, you know? They will put the fear into you and you'll lose that way. Okay, so Anfos22 asks, hey TCG lover, I watched the video but I want the truth. Did you make this video because you didn't know what you wanted to do next? I do know what I want to do next. I have a large list of things I want to do. It's only because I have a time frame that it's not optimal. I mean, I would love to make videos every day, but I can't because sometimes I have the opportunity to, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I've got to go and do stuff. I have a girlfriend, I've got university to get started with. I'm going to move, I have to move to a new place, I've got to rebuild, you know, I just went to IKEA and I bought some stupid amount of stuff that I've got to build, so I can't make videos while I'm building a bedroom, you know? So I have a lot of things I want to do. It's not like I don't know what to do. I do have a nice little list of different topics to talk about. Obviously when new cards come out I talk about those and so on. King Bwinkus, sorry if I got your name wrong, Bwinkus asks, should Fiberjar be unbanned? I think any card that resets the game completely like that should never come off the list, because it looks like it's completely abusable. It's long enough that when you watch a Prophecy mirror match that it takes 2 hours, or it takes 1.5 hours over the time of the round, so they're just sitting there for 5 turns just thinking about every play. It should not be like that, and Fiberjar in spellbooks would just reset the game every time. It would be the most boring thing ever, and I think I'd probably quit the game briefly if Fiberjar came back. It just isn't healthy. Kevin Lackey asks, why haven't battling boxes gotten noticed yet? They have gotten noticed, Kevin. They have gotten noticed, actually. They are very good. I mean, considering the fact that they're very budget, they're very good. I mean, they're not as good as the top decks. On someone on a budget, they're probably one of the best decks. I mean, Battling Box of Spirits, which came out in Shadow Spectres, gave the deck a push because it allows you to make some nice little plays. You know, you can send Glassjaw to the graveyard if you get lucky, and then you get to search. Glassjaw in itself is just a fantastic card, and you combine it with Switch Hitter. You know, Lead Yoke is a fantastic card. I mean, in a slow, grindy format, which is what this one is becoming, obviously it's speeding up because of Hieratics, Gears, Dolces and stuff, getting all OTK on this. Battling Box is still very good, it's just a bit outpaced, but I don't think they're losing traction, to be honest. I think there's a few players who have really taken it upon themselves to get good at the deck, and I applaud them for that, because the deck is very good. Lead Yoke is such a noob trap, you know. So many bad players will play against Battling Boxes and lose because they don't think, how can I get over Lead Yoke? They just sort of play against the normal Battling Boxes, and when they finally make Big Cs, they lose. They beat the opponent down with a free 800 beat stick. M. Bison asks, when was the first time you kissed a girl or guy, whatever you are into? Answer, or you would get Psycho question. I am not gay. I don't have any problem with gays. I'm not homophobic in the slightest. The first time I ever kissed a girl was when I was like 10. You know, for Dare, I kissed a girl. I was a good-looking kid back then. I got a lot of I don't know what happened, but I was a good-looking kid back then, and they couldn't keep my hands off me, basically. When I first met my girlfriend of now, I've been with her for about 5 years or something. Almost 5 years, almost 4 to 5 years. And that was the first time I properly kissed a girl, and I was actually old enough to realize what was going on. There you go. So that's a very weird question, M. Bison, but I'm glad I didn't get psycho crushed. Trollface Blastoise asks, what do you do to improve at playing Yu-Gi-Oh competitively? As I said before in a previous question, go into a tournament with your head held high, be confident. It's one thing knowing how to play your deck, but if your opponent tries to outplay you and shark you, then you will get beaten. And it's not your fault, not because you played badly. To improve at playing Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, I try to go to locals often, but it's very difficult because it's quite far away from me. But when I'm not at locals, I try to play on DN, try to play on DevPro, and just, you know, watching duels, basically, just watching how people play particular hands. You know, they've got 3 cards in hand. How do you play this out so that you're optimizing? If you there's multiple ways to win, what's the best way to win so that you can reduce the amount of outs that your opponent has to that combo? You know, a sort of thing like that. Madolce Bro asks, why is it that so many people ignore flip effect monsters? Mainly because the game is too fast now. There's so many ways to destroy face downs. You know, there were cards like Gear, which isn't a flip effect, but it is a flip face up monster, and Gear is 1900, and it's very difficult to kill. You know, if you attack it, they get a search, so they always go +0 with it, and if you don't kill it, then they can just flip it up and down again and use strategists to keep flipping it up and down. It's very, very annoying in that way. Bloodchadori1 asks, why? Why not? Sheen Taku, who I believe I know you. Yeah, of course I know you. Other than Yu-Gi-Oh, what are your hobbies? As I said before, it was probably just playing games. You know, that's what I do, but I don't really have enough time for hobbies since I'm a university student. When you go into university, or in college, if you're American, then a lot of time gets taken away. I find just about enough time to play Yu-Gi-Oh with a few people in the uni. I wish I had other time to do hobbies, you know, because I do computer science as a degree. If I had another hobby, it would probably be something like programming or internet designing or something like that that would help my course, rather than go and do something completely random like a hobby like skydiving or something. I just couldn't do that. Right, so Nimble Sloth, I like that name, that's a good name. Do you think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 will be as bad as Zeal or even worse GX? Zeal was pretty bad, but got better. It was the same as 5Ds, except 5Ds was actually better overall. But Zeal started off really stupid, but Yuma actually stopped being a little bitch and actually became a character that people could actually understand. And now that he actually has to deal with things like Astral going off the way, and then Yuma had to be on his own for a while, he actually shows that he kind of became a normal person rather than this overly optimistic idiot, this little 13-year-old who didn't really understand anything. But now he's gotten better at the game. It's actually okay to watch his duels. GX was annoying as well because I think that the dub butchered GX completely. You know, it's like, we're gonna throw down a couple of face downs, and then it would go to the other guy and he'd be like, you know, it just, the antagonist was stupid, the protagonist was stupid in GX. If Yu is annoying, then it will be just like Zeal. If the whole of Arc 5 characters are annoying, then it will be just like GX. So it's up to them to make Yu a stubborn, obnoxious duelist who doesn't take any shit, because then he'll be like Yusei. And Yusei was a very lovable character because of the way that the anime developed. Card Player Do 21 asks, in this format, would you play with the OCG or the TCG or OCG ban list? Also, do I watch Doctor Who? No, I don't watch Doctor Who. I don't really like it. Some people like it, but I just can't stand why the hell BBC insists on placing all the Doctor Who episodes in central London. I don't know why. There's the whole other rest of the planet, but they don't really use it too much, because BBC are just so fucking lazy that they rather just make their program in London all the time. It's very annoying that way. In this format, would I play with the TCG or OCG ban list? Well, I would most likely play with the TCG because I'm the TCG lover, but also because the OCG ban list, which I don't recall too much of it, but I do know that a couple of cards came off the list which shouldn't have. They also got 2 Honests in a Bujin format. That seems really ridiculous. They're about to get Primal Origins, which is going to blow Bujins wide open. So Konami says, okay, let's give them a 5th Crane, a 5th hand trap. It's like, well, Konami, what are you doing? That's so stupid. You know, the worst possible format to give decks back and honest. I mean, they're going to get the Lightsworn support. I think the Lightsworn support's already come out. Giving all these decks honest is pushing the deck too much. It's just going to take over the format, which is really annoying. One Piece 25, which is not One Piece as in the anime, but One Piece as in Peace Out. I don't know if you misspelled that or something. Pendulum summoning, what do you think it will be like? Now, this is a question a lot of people have asked. Pendulum summoning, most likely, I think I've watched the Yu-Gi-Oh! Musketeers video. If you haven't seen it, definitely just search it up on YouTube and you'll find it quite easily. He suggests that pendulum summoning will be 2 different monsters, which has already been confirmed by Shonen Jump, I think. And it will require 2 particular monsters, and then you overlay them in such a way maybe that their effects will combine, or their effects, the 2 monsters have different effects, but when they combine together you create this pendulum monster from the extra deck or the main deck depending on what happens, and it has effects that apply on either turn. So on your turn it has an offensive effect, and then on your opponent's turn it will have a defensive one. So maybe on your turn it will have a attack that when you attack you increase attack, and then on your opponent's turn it does the pendulum, and when you get attacked you can negate the attack once per turn or something. It's kind of weird what's going to happen, but I think that the card, if a pendulum monster is going to be its own card, then it will be red. You know, I think everyone's agreed that it will probably be red. Trixeromon X77 asks, my question are 2. What's your name and how old are you? My real name is Kyle, and I am 21 right now. I played this game for many years, so when I started playing it properly I was like 17, 16, something like that. The kind of typical age that a Yu-Gi-Oh player was now, you know, competitively. But I'm actually 21, so I'm actually on the older end of it. Although I know that in America a lot of players are in their mid-20s, so I don't feel like I should stop just because of my age. But there is a lot more responsibility that now that I'm a lot older than I used to be. Evolution, for the zeros for O's, says, glad to see you getting more popular. You make interesting videos. Thank you. Basically, my question is, how can I practice against good players playing the best decks? Now, this is a problem that a lot of players are having recently. The best way to practice, if you can call it practice, would be to go to like a YCS or regional, or just have a very competitive locals. You could get high rating on DN and then play against the high rated DN players, because now that they've changed it so that the TCG format, it's not TCG/OCG, you can play the TCG separately so that you can test the TCG format, because the 2 different formats, the TCG and OCG, are very different now. So you would realistically prefer to play only TCG so that you can actually get practice against decks. So I would suggest just to dedicate like a day getting your rating up on DN with single games, play that way. Xfighter100 asks, what got you into Yu-Gi-Oh? Did you like the show at all? I did like the show. I think the show was cool, but at the same time it was very like the friendship thing that Tear used to do in the first one. I couldn't stand that. That was the stupidest thing ever. But in general, Yu-Gi-Oh was all fantastical and kind of like silly and stuff. You know, I came into it when 5Ds was beginning, and realistically I think it was good because I like the grittiness of Yusei and the characters, as I said in the other question that I've already answered. What got you into Yu-Gi-Oh? It was not the anime. The anime was there and I knew it was where it was, you know, 5Ds was starting and blah blah blah. I got into Yu-Gi-Oh because my friends were playing it, and I looked at how the game was and I thought, wow, it's actually a lot more intellectually stimulating than it used to be. You know, it used to be beat down decks, you know, you just equip your monsters with equip spells, attack. It's not like that anymore. Now it's actually a matter of analyzing card advantage. It's actually a lot more mathematical, and the game really should be difficult to understand for it to become complicated, and for people to actually need skill to understand it, and that's what keeps people from playing it, rather than just make it really basic. Tree of Tells asks, yo, what was the first deck you ever used in Yu-Gi-Oh and what was its theme? As I said before, my first deck I ever used was Black Wings. What was the first proper meta deck that you used competitively? The first proper meta deck was Machina Gadgets, by far, definitely. Richard Goes TV asks, do you like nuts? If you're asking like the nuts as in Yu-Gi-Oh nuts, then yeah, of course, I love opening up Exodia. I enjoy that. But if I like nuts as in peanuts, then yeah, I like peanuts and pistachios, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, and all those other kind of nuts. But I don't like nuts as in like your nuts. I don't think I want your nuts in my face. Silver Corrales asks, do you lift, bro? I do not lift on a regular basis, but if I wanted to, I could probably lift you. Come at me, bro. PR Block Mayor asks, are you from England? Because I think I saw you in a tournament in London. I think you were playing mermaids, and what's your favourite archetype from the 5Ds era? Most likely because I get a lot of weird stares from people at locals who I'd never seen before, and they look at me weirdly, and I'm like, I know that I'm a Yu-Gi tuber, but a lot of people don't even bother to confront me. They just sort of like look at me weirdly like, oh my god, it's Thetcglover. And they don't actually talk to me. So it's like, if you don't talk to me, I'm just going to assume that you're just looking at me weird. I'm not one of those people who are striving for glory or fame or anything like that. I want to be, it's nice to be recognized, but I don't want to go out of my way and tell people how to live their life in Yu-Gi-Oh, how to do this and this and stuff. I mean, I make videos because I enjoy it. So if you're trying to herald me as some kind of amazing god who understands the game a lot and has my face on the camera, you need to change that, because fact is that I enjoy being confronted by people and told, you know, oh, I watch your channel, I'm subscribed to you, you're great, you know. It's like, oh, thank you, you know, carry on, we can have a duel if you want, I don't mind. You know, I'm just a normal person making videos, that's how it is. What's my favourite archetype from the 5Ds era? Well, I love machiners, you know, because it goes with the deck well. But I also enjoy TGs. I think they were pretty fun, and there's a lot of other things as well, like the psychics that came out in Extreme Victory. I did play Nordics for a while when Storm of Ragnarok came out, because I couldn't afford Kizan, so otherwise I would have played Six Samurai. But I think that the Nordic cards were fun. It's just annoying that they ended up not being as powerful as they could have been. And the last question is, the Australian Yu-Gi-Oh player says, if you get really huge, do you plan on helping small Yu-Gi tubers? Did I see the Yu-Gi Tube Awards? I'll go through each question individually. I do plan on helping. I mean, I've got almost 2,000 subs. Not enough. I mean, if I had on the level of people like Underworld, 6667, Vexicus, Galactic God, Simply Unlucky, MCO40, if I had the kind of subs like that, then I would totally allow people to put videos on my channel. Obviously, I'll check it first and go, that's a good video, I want this on my channel. I would love to give shout outs to people, but I mean, Galactic God gives so many shout outs to people, and that's fantastic, you know, but it does take up a lot of time to give people shout outs and stuff like that. But it's, you know, if it helps people, then I will gladly do it. Did I see Yu-Gi Tube Awards? I did see some of it, and to be honest, it seems very stuck up. I mean, like, there were people in the Yu-Gi Tube Awards voting and nominating themselves. I mean, that's not allowed, is it? It's okay to think of yourself as good, but to actually make yourself win an award just to make yourself look good, it's like you were voted for by the other Yu-Gi tubers, but you shouldn't have been nominatable in the first place. If you're making an awards, then don't have yourself included, because then it just seems really up your ass, you know? That's the thing. I think a lot of you know, a lot of the big YouTubers were like, if you don't like it, then don't bother watching it. And it's like, I didn't even watch many of them because there were so many different awards coming from different people. But at the same time, the way that it was done was very poor. It just seems like everyone's trying to kiss each other's ass, basically. Are there any way that you would say a smaller Yu-Gi tuber could collab with you? If so, and how? A small Yu-Gi tuber could collab. I get messages from people, and I do apologize if you have messaged me wanting to do a collaboration with me and I never actually got the chance to do it with you, or I haven't replied. It's because I've been busy doing stuff. But the thing is that, like, I don't really know how to collab with people. The only collab I could possibly do would be to just do a DevPro video, you be the opponent, and then we talk over Skype and we can talk at the same time, and obviously I'll record our voices. That would be something very easy to do. I've done it before with my friends and stuff like that. So if you would like to do that, we could totally do that, and you know, you just have to message me, and we'll happily do like a really good video. So that's it. That's all the questions. That's not all the questions that I got, but that was practically 90% of the questions that I received, and I'd love to thank you guys so much for coming up with all these questions. So many different questions. I would love to do another one of these maybe in a year's time. Maybe when I've got more subscribers, I can do the same Q&A again, and we'll see how the answers have changed. You know, we'll know what pendulum summoning is. We'll know what's your favorite archetype from the Arc 5 era, rather than the 5Ds, and you know, maybe I won't be playing mermaids anymore, things will be different. Anyway, my next video will more likely be a mermaid versus Fire Fist. I managed to get a match on DevPro, which is very interesting to watch, and I'm going to commentate over that. That'll be my next video, which I'll upload, I believe, tomorrow, but I'm going to locals tomorrow. I'll see if I can do that, and I hope to see you guys in a few days. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and thank you everyone for commenting and asking a question. I hope I got your name right. I hope I actually got your question answered sufficiently so that you don't feel like you missed out. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, the Thetcglover is out.